You're awesome.
Welcome, everybody. This is the Andrew Bartzis new teaching show with the man himself, the Galactic historian.
That would be me.
And Maty Waller.
With bed hair.
Yeah, off you tell. Oh.
And we are in our cottage in Yorkshire as we tour the UK with our combined therapies, intensive healing sessions. We are also joined by Tobin.
Hello, everyone. The Falsaurus here.
Who is actually at home 15 minutes down the road. And we have the very beautiful Geraldine on. Thank you for joining us, Geraldine. And somewhere in the background, somewhere in the background is Joan trying to get on as well. So we know there are more stories to come from the Tour of Scotland and from our healings. So where do we want to start, Andrew?
It all began late last year, August the 24th. You're good. August the 24th last year, where Laura's like, hey, I want you to meet these people. I just done a show with them, I don't know, maybe a month before that. Let's get together and do something. So on August 24th, we're all chitter-chattering back and forth. Oh, we can do an event. We can do this. Oh, it's all work. I'm like, let's just do a bus tour. And then light bulbs turned on. And we contacted a bus tour company, and the rest is history. 9 months later, we gave birth to a bus tour, and here we are in the afterglow. Geraldine, how was the birth for you?
The birth or the rebirth?
The rebirth. Or afterbirth.
Or the afterbirth, yeah.
We did a water birth.
Yeah, it was a good water birth, I must say, pain-free. Yeah. No, it was very good now, I must say. Since I've come back, it's been a lot of reflection, self-reflection. I got 2 weeks off from the doctor, gave me a 2-week sick line. So happy days for that. That's given me plenty of time to be creative and self-reflect and, maybe start to sort of navigate a wee bit of a new territory through my life and that. So we'll see how that goes.
So you had a 10-day bus tour and a 10-day off, 10 days off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's karma right there.
It was just brilliant. I was like, oh yeah, I'm having a really hard time, but at the same time, I'm being looked after. So,
So, Maty, this had been like the first time you've been away from the family in what, years or if ever? That long.
Apart from the 6 months I spent
Yeah.
at Her Majesty's pleasure. Yeah, it was.
What was it like for you?
It was so fast-paced, and there was so much going on that I didn't really have time to miss anybody too much. But it was glorious. It was glorious, and it wasn't a chore. It was an adventure, that's for sure. And I think I'm still unpacking it, to be honest. It hasn't really yet finished. We're here now doing healings and having more adventures. So really, it hasn't ended. So yeah, I'm still very much in it.
And the lovely Laura right now is cooking shepherd's pie. We have bread in the oven and mashed potatoes that have been done already even before the show has started.
Yeah, well, Andrew's proved himself to be a really good chef. I'm going to say chef and not cook. Okay, so you've made chili, you've made the best pizza I've ever tasted, actually the best chili I've ever tasted.
Bolognese.
And bolognese and
scrambled eggs.
And yeah.
He's got the best scrambled eggs, Laura. Let's hear you.
Dale wins the medal.
I made you flip eggs.
Yeah, Dale wins the medal for the best scrambled eggs. So yeah, it's really interesting seeing another side to Andrew. No, let's rephrase that. Not seeing the Galactic historian really, but getting to know Andrew as a friend has been really, really brilliant, and it's helping the four of us really gel because we're meeting up with Dale every day, and you've probably seen some videos. We've been eating out, which was great. But we're working while we're doing that, guys, because we're trying to plan the best way that we can take all these healing modalities around the UK. And we're also practicing the whole time, which is fun because we're practicing on each other and we're learning so much. My psychic surgery skills have really got much better since working with Dale and Maty.
That's an understatement, Laura.
Is it?
Better. I think all of us together have.
Yeah.
Each evening that we come to, and we're quite late. We're doing these healings actually as
Midday,
well.
1 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. Each evening, I had a very emotional day yesterday, and we just switched off and went to healing on Andrew. And I mean, the skills each day is like 3 or 4 months of personal practice. Because when we're together like this, the energy that we create, the trust we have in one another, the abilities that we have seem to be shared amongst us. And the unseen world is just opening up and just and helping us out.
And no Wi-Fi, which forces us to turn the light on.
Yeah.
Yes. We suddenly disappear. You'll all know why, because it's a bit intermittent here at times. So, Geraldine, what did you experience on the tour of these healing modalities?
What was the question again?
What did you experience on the tour with the healing modalities that we brought? And do you want to talk about that? So that you had the Lucia light?
For me, it was really about the light. I've actually done some research. I think I'm going to buy one. I think I've got a good deal on one. I just have to say to the guy, yeah, okay, let's do this. It's not the Lucia one.
Don't buy it. It's garbage. Don't buy it. It's garbage.
Which one? You don't even know
what is it the star one or anything else? All of them, they're garbage. They'll be broken in less than a year. They have no ability to actually withstand any real use.
Oh, well, that's heartbroken. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I'm serious. You will waste your money. The one that's shaped like a star, they want to charge 12 grand for it. It's absolutely worthless. It'll be broken in less than a year.
Oh, well.
Useless broken. And all those other ones, the same thing. They use the cheapest of parts into them and labor that doesn't know how to assemble them. Unfortunately, that's the truth about those lights. I know because I went through every freaking light that's out there to find the ones that actually worked.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a freaking difficulty in navigating when you're trying to get information off them back and forth with emails and things, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, I will onwards and keep going. I'm determined. I'll manifest one somehow.
Well, the Lucia Light Company has a smaller version that you can get too. And if you look inside, they often have specials on them. Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to get a bit looking. I did talk to them. I emailed them, had a wee chat with them and that. And then I thought, well, you should at least spread your wings out a bit and see what else is out there. So kind of been in the process of doing that the past couple of days. While I've been recuperating.
Is that a sausage?
Hey?
You got a sausage? It's open a sausage.
Oh.
She's drawn.
Yeah.
Is that Scotland?
Yeah, I'm doing one for the whales, you know, because Joni was chatting about it in the chat, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do something nice there. So I'm just sort of keeping them in my thoughts and just jabbing away. So yeah.
Wales. Yeah.
Do you think Scotland's opened you up to more creativity, Geraldine?
Not really.
Has it enhanced it? Don't you laugh,
things, you know? I think it might. I think it will sort of expand me into more healing modalities, perhaps, you know, because that was quite impressive watching everybody and getting to chat with them. Lots of lovely people that are doing amazing things with different healing modalities. So there's definitely room for exploration there. And then, what was it Andy said when we went to Stones? Leave your tools And when you go onto the stones, ask for new ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I'll be expanding in that direction. So just putting feelers out and feeling what feels good for me. But as for my creativity, it's very hard for me to stop making things, because I was clearing out my room and I always clicked, oh, there's pieces of glass, I can make something with them. Oh, look, there's feathers, I'll gather these feathers, So it's like I had 3 days, it took me 3 days to tidy my room. There's so much stuff, to do with it. I might make this and I might make that, and of course I never get the time to, so yeah, as I'm just non-stop busy making things, I find it hard not to. It's more like my meditation. I'm not a great person for sitting down and being still, but when I'm busy creating something, if it's artwork for a client or if it's just embroidery or something, I find it gives me it puts me in a good headspace.
Yeah.
So that's
10 days off also helps too.
What was that?
Having 10 days off also helps too.
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel. I feel like the journey itself was incredible, but it hasn't really fully unpacked yet. It's still unpacking, and it has exposed the next layer of work, I guess you could say, for me as well. So it has developed a healing. It's given me a lot of new friends, a lot of newfound energy, but also exposed those parts of me that can no longer go on in the future, which is perfect. I mean, what more do you need from healing?
Yeah.
So, Lord Tobin,
Hello.
what did the tour do for you?
So the tour for me opened me up in such a way that I would have never have thought would happen. So from going in my regular life of being with the kids, doing my work here, doing my clients online, to going to doing this face-to-face 2 weeks, a lot of work, a lot of preparation beforehand. I'd say it's elevated me into a different person, and it's made me see dreams I've never dreamed before, on elevating myself in ways I've never wanted to elevate myself. It's lit a fire up my arse, into different avenues and ways I want to explore and kind of change. And like even doing psychic surgery on the Lucia light, it's made me learn patience. And that's the one thing what it has done for me is instead of trying to do too many things and learn so much about it, how I had patience. Well, how the Lucia light has helped me become such a more patient in my sessions, more gentle, and realizing that gentle, powerful energy is so important. As before I was going in guns blazing, now it's just there's so much I'm learning from the Lucia light and the Scotland experience itself. My socializing skills, speaking to people 7 days a week, I'm not used to that. So it kind of opened me up to the restaurant days of when I was always showing my face, always talking and so on. And to add on top of that, going around individual bubbles of experience, having and sharing it with you incredible people as well. I'd say it's changed me. It's made me want to grow, and it's inspired me to continue on my journey. I felt like I really needed that trip. I felt like it inspired me and gave me a fresh outlook on my own life, because I felt a bit stuck. I wasn't stuck. It was great what I was going through, but I needed that pilgrimage energy, going out there energy, coming back energy. Just it felt like I really needed that in my soul.
Wonderful. Laura, what did it do for you? It still does. Still do.
And yeah, like Maty said, I'm still unpacking it too. So
Because neither of us have been home yet.
Yeah.
no, that's right.
You
No,
guys
none
have
of
been
us.
home already.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
already had that recharge, reset energy.
Yeah, I'm still trying to sort of catch up and process where we went and go over my journal again and relive some of the most amazing moments that we had. I think one of the biggest things for me was meeting all the guys on the bus who came and what we co-created together, some of the magical moments around the Ring of Brodgar. Even though we couldn't touch the stones, somehow we did touch the stones, as you know, we did. And the connections made with different people on the tour, and the experiences that we had together were amazing. And the places were all quite different energies. We've said this before on other shows, how the energies changed significantly going over to Orkney, and then changed again when we went to Skye, and different again on the mainland. And just getting other people's take and reactions on that, and how it affected them, and knowing that we were all meant to be there for a reason. Everybody who was meant to come came, and we all shared some very special moments. So I think, mostly it's meeting the people and the connection we've got with them afterwards now, that we're able, have Geraldine on the show and others coming on to keep that connection going.
And that was a very important part of it for me as well. I think that, since, the illness that should not be named came about, everybody went virtual. And that's okay, it's perfectly acceptable to do healings in a virtual way. It doesn't affect the potency or the effectiveness of them. But when we're in person like that, person to person, you can look into somebody's eyes, you can touch them, and it adds a whole extra layer to not only the healing but the co-creation itself. And that's something that I've taken away from it, is just the joy of being around people, like-minded people, but also the power and potency that can come from those scenarios.
What was it like for you? This is your tour.
It was really? I didn't notice.
This was your tour. This was
noticed.
The Galactic Historian tour.
I'm still processing like everybody else, but the connections that I made to the individuals, the stories that were told, being in the little pub in Stornoway, getting rained on with the body condom, okay, and the sheep and the 12 sheep that were shitting on the standing stones. Yes, you may all not realize it, but if you go up there are sheep around every standing stone, and yes, sheep pods everywhere. Okay, watching Jason like woo a sheep to him, I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? It's like the sheep were the keepers of the stones.
Yeah.
And then just the beauty of the land.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh my God, the beauty. And then Laura's like, where do you want to go next? It's all rocks to me. Yes. Got to the point I didn't want to see any more beautiful rocks. Okay? It reached that overwhelm. I also got sick, just like a lot of other people on the bus. And you just had to just do what you could do to get through to it. I mean, Geraldine had it too. But I didn't let that stop me, other than, I've seen my share of rocks the last 3 days. Okay? I'm still processing. Like right after the tour ended, we had this amazing little cottage. We were all able to come together and just go through that 2 days of letdown phase. And it was just amazing, just absolutely amazing. And now here we are 6 hours south in York, starting the healing journey and the healing tour process this weekend. You want to talk about that, Laura?
Yeah, that was a nice surprise, I think, wasn't it, Geraldine, for you guys on the tour?
Yeah.
We weren't sure we were going to be able to pull it off, but luckily we found a couple of hotels where we could get some space, quite a decent amount of space and some time, bearing in mind we have long days on the coach. Mm-hmm. We come in and like a quick turnaround, and then we're down to the room, and we got a good few hours in. I think the first one we were able to give nearly everybody at least, I think, two sessions. And I think people were really wowed, weren't they, with the Lucia light and the PEMF mat, and combine that with the craniosacral therapy. And of course, Maty's incredible sessions he was doing with people with the hematite you were working with, weren't you, Maty?
Yeah, I showed up with 100 hematite elliptical magnets.
Yeah.
And he went, "What are those?" They are mine. Mine.
I still haven't given them back.
Yeah, I know. And I said, guess what? They're going to break. They're going to disappear. They're going to fall. Just get used to it, or even pick up your first one. And ever since then, he has been Lord of Magnets.
Yes. So yeah, being able to do that for everybody on the tour, and then I think the last day we gave an option for some people to stay and some people to come on the planned tour. So it was exactly half and half. So half stayed with Maty and Andrew, and the other half of us went to Iona and Staffa. And I know those who stayed had some terrific sessions. I think Geraldine was one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that morning, as you guys are leaving, some Irish bikers, I was just asking if somebody had a lighter, and he goes, "I have a lighter and a bottle for you." And he gave me a bottle of whiskey, 12-year whiskey. And I'm like,
Irish hospitality.
yes, Irish hospitality.
In
And
Scotland?
in Scotland. Well, I was in Scotland. I got the last hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the night before, I was bribed with whiskey, which really irony.
Yeah. Yeah.
So should we discuss some of the healings we've been doing recently over the last few days with the light?
Well, we got Geraldine here. Well, let's see if we can get Joan to come in too.
Yeah.
And then
I'll message her.
blah, blah, blah. So, Dale Lord Tobin, now that you've had a little bit more opportunities to work with the light and all that, what kind of insight can you give people who have never maybe done the light?
So looking into the light, because it does a flickering motion, it can trigger a lot of people to thinking it's going to be a bit disruptive. But as you get under that light, you go into the hypnosis state straight away. And it's such a lovely, warm feeling. It's like you're going into a dream. So before I was a little bit of nerves around the light. But as soon as you turn that light on, I could see so many images, so many dimensions, and it felt like I've done DMT again. It was so special when I did it. So for me, it was about understanding the light more and more, the more experience I had on it. And for using the light, it felt like the light was responding to the psychic surgery as well. Like when there was something going on in the psychic surgery session, for the next part, the light would change color and it would go into something else. So it felt like the light was working in sync when I was doing psychic surgery work as well. It's phenomenal. It's out of this world, and it's given me so much inspiration because, like Maty said, when all of us come together doing the psychic surgery on someone under that light, it's out of this world. There's nothing I can really describe it with. The passion as well we all have when we're doing those sessions, or even when we get in the sessions. Like when we talked about yesterday, 2 days ago on the Talking Stick show, that room in the hotel, the amount of passion and genius which was in that room was beyond everything. And it was such an honor to have so many masters in the room. Even the people coming and doing the treatments, their inspiration was there, their passion was there, and it just added more and more to the healing energies. So I'd say from when I started doing it, now I'm learning more about how much the light goes into your anatomy, into the brain, into the eyes, and so on, and it moves throughout the whole entire body as well. So for me, I fucking love it. I really do. And each time I do sessions, I'm really excited to do those and even experiencing those. If you're listening and you never tried it before, I'd really recommend coming and experiencing what we're doing, because it's phenomenal to have that back-to-back combined therapy where you're in one space to the next space, you relax, then you're into a next space of healing. You can go into some deep, deep traumas. An example would be when I did a session in the hotel. There was someone I went into a birthing trauma, and I picked it up straight away, and I took them back to that birth literally straight away under the Lucia light. So you can go in some really deep layers and release a lot of shit. Like I had dog shit, like energetic dog shit all over my right leg, which I picked up a few days ago in a pub as I was walking with my kids. So yeah, really, really cool shit.
And the light, this is another element to the light, is that like Dale said, it co-creates with you. But as a healer, there's a certain element of where you need to get the client into a certain frame of mind or a certain state of beingness. And what the light does is it puts them straight into that state of beingness. So it's like opening somebody up. So, we've been doing with the light, laying down on the bench, which is something that we didn't do when we were in the hotel, but laying down on the bench with whoever's being healed lying down, the light focused on their head or whatever part of the body that we're actually healing on, because it doesn't just have to be on the head to give visions. You can actually focus the light itself onto parts of the body, and that light will penetrate the body. And it allows so much more depth as a psychic surgeon and a healer, so much more depth, because you're instantly in that state of hypnosis, but not to the point where you are not aware of your consciousness. You're lucid, you can speak to the people, but they remain in that state. And as a healer, that is the golden egg. It really is, to get people straight there, open, and begin the work.
And as Andrew calls it, the no drug mystical experience. And it really is, because I've done DMT before. And it is, afterwards, you feel great, you feel energized, you feel happy. There's no come down at all. So it is a no drug mystical experience.
Yeah, and for those that, those people that are dealing with quite aggressive programming, that's where the beauty of going from treatment to treatment to treatment, treatment to treatment to treatment, because the parasympathetic and the sympathetic are simply overwhelmed by the volume of data coming in and the directions from which they're coming in, which is something that we've experienced in the last few days here, having multiple surgeons, isn't it, Laura? As we're working together, it has that same effect, even though effectively we're only using two modalities at once, but it's just the body cannot compete.
Absolutely. I think there is so much potential now for the Lucia light. There really is. And the ways it can be used, and what we're learning from Andrew, we eventually, would like to pass on in the form of training, because Andrew's ability and way of using the Lucia light, I've never seen before. And I have, I have watched some stuff on Lucia Light and other people using it, but I've not seen anybody use it in quite the same way as Andrew does.
Because they don't know how.
Yes.
And the irony is, I know a lot of other people have the Lucia lights that they just put on a show. They take it to a festival, they take it to here, they take it to there. And there's very few people actually doing healings with it, if any. Now, I own two of the Lucia lights, and between the two machines, I've got about 1,200 hours of operations in 5 years, going on 6 years. 2017, going on 6 years. I don't know anybody else other machines that is doing that. And there's only, 485 or maybe 505 of these devices that have been produced so far. And then there's the smaller lights. The whole point of this Lucia light, what I want to get to, is that light itself adds to the practitioner's capacity to penetrate in the human body. Laura, when you had an opportunity to do craniosacral while the person was on the light, how did the light affect you? After all, you didn't even see it, did you?
No, I didn't notice it, but I did also feel I was very much co-creating with the light. It sort of draws you in, and there is a co-creation with it. And it also, for me, it sort of enhanced my psychic abilities for I think I was looking in your third eye at one time.
Yeah.
And having a look at how Andrew reads the Akashic records. And that was fun. And that was sort of happening without me being really consciously aware that was going on at the same time.
It just naturally happened. It expanded your awareness, expanded your capacity to be in that state of body wisdom, which is what craniosacral therapy is about, tapping into the body wisdom.
Yeah, and absolutely with the craniosacral therapy, it just enhanced everything about the craniosacral therapy. Yeah. And it would do, I guess, with other modalities, healing modalities.
Absolutely. Fascia replacement, unwinding. Yeah. Like the other day, I decided, all right, I need a new right leg. So I'm going to show them how to do leg replacement therapy. So we've done my left leg and my right leg so far. And then tonight we'll do my spinal column. So what was that like for you guys, having to go through learn the weaving and the reconstruction process?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. As I say, just watching Maty and Dale together, but also following my own intuition now. And you had said about the weaving. So I started to weave, and Maty put music on. That really helped. And I started to get a real vision of creating a holographic leg within the psychic surgery process. And it's just incredible. It's just infinite. It's boundless, isn't it? You can go as far as you will allow yourself to go. Donation.
The limits are your own belief.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's trusting. It got to be really trusting in myself that made the difference. It was all about that self-trust, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. And for me, it has exponentially improved the skill set that I have, and I can tell that it's going to develop further. In 3 days, I've learned more than I have in the last 6 months. Excuse me. I don't know where to go. We could do a whole show just on the last 3 days, really.
I thought it might be good to ask Geraldine, what were your intentions getting the Lucia light when you buy one? Well, tell people what you do first of all.
I do a lot of different things. I work in mental health with in intensive care. I also work with the youth in a youth club doing the arts and crafts. Then in between that, I have my Lomi massage and my shamanic healing. And now and again, I would do clients. If they come to me, then that's fine. If they don't, then that's fine too. And just do a lot of different creative things, really. Just in flow of whatever I feel I want to do at the time. What was the other question about the light? What was my...
Yeah, so if you were to get one, how do you see yourself using it? Would this be for your clients? Is this for your own sort of self-development?
To me, more for my own sort of like exploration of my own consciousness. If that's the first port of call, really. Because
it'll be your spirit motorcycle.
Yeah. Because when I was under it, I noticed, hey, you know this technology very well from somewhere, and you can work with it, and I felt quite powerful under it. And at certain phases of being under it, I had certain insights that could take me to the next level of my own conscious exploration. And so for that, I thought that's quite exciting, And so for that reason, I thought, well, there's a good enough, you're always wanting to improve yourself and sort of move on and kind of like explore what abilities are. And this is new territory, but yet it feels very familiar. So I thought, yeah, I can do that. And I think I would enjoy the experience a lot. I mean, I was basically born with a little nipple on top of my head that I'd done that many magic mushrooms when I was younger. So it was like to have that sort of brightness of colour and things like that again. Oh, wow. I've been here before. So, that was exciting. And another thing that I noticed about it was at a certain point I went into an inner stillness. And that inner stillness was just like, there's so much clutter in your life. There's so much noise, whether it's on the media, whether it's your friends chatting, whether it's shitty music on the radio. And there's all this bombardment of sound and experience. And sometimes for me, it can be hard to shut that off.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any problems shutting it off when I was under the light. At a certain point, that came to me. And for a short period of time under it, there was just this silence.
Brain silence.
Now, there was music going on, of course. There was music in the background and different things going on, but it was gone. It was totally gone, And there was just this stillness. And it was just lovely, and I was like, oh my God, this is really nice. So, yeah.
So the cool thing about the Lucia light compared to many of the other lights on the market, that feeling you just described, the other lights can't simulate at all in any way, shape, or form. The other lights are entrainment lights. This is the difference between entrainment and training. This light retrains the body how to be back at your natural delta states. As we grow older, we alter our delta states because of dreams, because of traumas, etc. And what it does is retunes you to the actual natural frequency of delta, alpha, gamma, and it shows you and it can retrain the actual neural pathways to let go of the negative habit patterns that allow all this bleed through and extra information in that doesn't belong there. And that's why you're able to feel that silence, that frequency, that it was just peace. And I remember when the light ended, you were still seeing things 3, 4, 5 minutes later. Okay? It kept going and going. I said, every now and then you're going to realize it's still there. Okay?
It actually feels as if it's actually still here now.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Because it captured, I don't know if it captured part of my essence or I just merged with it. And I think once you merge with certain like entities of light, they hang on, you know, they're still
Sure.
merging with your field and things. So I still feel that in the one respect that the experience is actually still with me.
The light is sentient.
Yes, it is a sentient being.
So on that basis, does it have any interaction with the energies of the land where we were in Scotland, for example?
So yes, because it was on the bus tour everywhere
Yes.
we went. It was in the back of the bus. It was
Yeah.
one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the 18th person or 19th person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It toured Scotland literally with us.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
And this is when, as a practitioner, if you practice with the Lucia light, you will very quickly see that it is sentient and that it is adding to the experience in its own way. And another interesting fact is that what it also does when it's flooding the body with this light and the energy with this light, it allows you as a practitioner to see more illuminated. I'll have to rephrase that. I mean, it gives more illumination to one's sight. So the inner sight and the sight that you're using as you're working on your patient, it's much easier to enter into that visionary process. So again, there's another element of training there. It's so multifaceted. It really is.
When I got my first light, and I referred it to as my spirit motorcycle. I must have done 4-6 hours a day for the first 7 weeks.
Wow.
Maybe even 8 and 9 on the weekends when I wasn't having to work that hard. What I discovered is it made me stronger in every aspect of my life. What I also discovered is we have these deep reserves of light we use for others. I was able to keep recharging those reserves of light. And as I began to realize the entity that was behind the light, I began to see how it operated through a circuit mechanism. And it made it very simple to understand. The original creator of the light, Dirk, he's an electrical engineer and some other type of engineer, I forgot what it was. But he was struck by lightning and died. He was dead for 45 minutes. Okay? And when he came back to life, he had they told him how to make this machine.
Wow.
Wow.
So he went together with a psychotherapist who knew everything about brain waves, and they lined the light flicker rate to the brain waves and created a system in which you could literally reprogram the brain waves to their original autonomic functions. Meaning all of these overwritten negative programs can be slowly retrain the body back to go back to the normal process. Or erase the negative programs. Something else the light does, it makes it very easy for trauma to come to the surface and not be painful.
So, Andrew, how does it? Did you say the flicker? That's what messes with the programs and the amount of flicker rate the programs aren't able to kind of turn on. What's the mechanics?
More like the flicker rate itself is creating a state of sense of peace in the autonomic system, and the program can't turn on. It's like it doesn't have gas to the spark. The program may be yelling in the background, but it has no power to do anything because the flicker rate is overwhelming the autonomic system. And then real strong programs, once they get access to the vagus nerve, then it's a little different going on. Then you're literally battling the frequency itself. But the thing is, the whatever it is, it can't battle the light and you. It will fail. And once it's divided, it's conquered. And that's the same thing when you're working on the body. You have two people working on a thing. You divide the program's capacity to deal with one hard subject matter. And then you start breaking things down faster and faster until such a point the programs just give up and walk out.
Yeah, they're powerless.
Yeah, they're powerless.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they chest thump.
Yeah. Yes.
Promise annihilation.
Leg kick.
Yeah, we have seen that.
Yeah, we have seen that over and over again.
Seen that.
Have you been hitting the balls yet, Andrew? Someone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about the shiny new bumhole, Del?
My ring of fire.
So, what were the questions that are disappearing? Do you remember?
Okay.
Can you show us? Because
like
we
this
just
one.
need to answer some.
Relic One says that
yes.
they would love to experience the light, but not the lightning. That's a fascinating story because the light found a way to make itself manifest.
Well, the thing, the person who did the human design also got struck by lightning and then came up with a system. There's actually been quite a few people who've been struck by lightning and have developed technological systems and healing systems. It's common.
Aye.
Okay, so are you able to go into any detail about the unseen mechanics going on with this unique light spectrum?
The answer is yes. If you've never physically experienced the light, it's hard to describe. So the light is like an 8-inch circle with a powerful halogen in the center, and then 8 solid flicker lights on the outside that have their own flicker rates to them. So each individual light of the smaller 8, think of it as a line of code. So you have 8 lines of code and then a center line of code. And that center line of code will give you codes to the other codes. So you have a circuit that is training the photoreactive body, or giving the photoreactive body the actual mathematical signals to return to a state of relaxation. It is also giving you a flicker rate for red, blue, green, yellow, orange, and violet, indigo and violet, even though the light is only white. How many times have you guys looked out and their light is another color, their skin is another color? The lights are white, but the way it flickers, your brain interprets color. Okay? So once you start getting to this higher state is where you realize the way the flicker creates a code is also the mechanics of how the spiritual can put more information into you. It's like a zip drive, like a living zip drive that's going into you and unpacking more and more light inside you.
And you experience that as a practitioner working on the light, because the light doesn't just affect the person that's being worked on; it affects the person that's standing around. It's expansive.
And there are many ways to use the light. You don't always just have to have it right inside their face while laying down. You could have 6, 7, 8 people in a group, and they could all have the exact same deep relaxation experience. Okay? And I think that most I've packed into one group was 12. And then I had them all reading out contract revocations.
Wow.
So they're reading, and the flicker rate is still affecting them, which put us into this very high delta state. And the prayer words that came out were mystical. And the tears that came from the people in group community prayer. So that's a whole other way to use the light, to enhance group communities and feelings and prayers. And I have brought my other light, the first light I had, many times to multiple ceremonies that I had. And shined it right on the fire, shined it in all different places to illuminate the astral worlds that were there. So beyond just the healing factor, there's the illumination factor it provides.
That's what blew me away the most: the amount of light that it produces, and it's it's palpable light that you store, and that's incredible. So what about the mat itself as well? Then, 'cause I'm really
we haven't really talked much about
it out yet, but
No.
So that's pulse electromagnetic therapy, something that has been approved by the FDA about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, for a variety of ailments and sicknesses, everything from depression to cancer, and what has retuned you back to the natural earth magnetics, and then it gives you counter frequency specific sicknesses and diseases, everything from cancer to heartburn to whatever's going on in the body. It has the counter magnetic frequencies to those 6 types of sicknesses.
So perhaps you can explain to people the beauty of having the combined therapy. So we're having the craniosacral, but you could easily have massage as well, couldn't you? With the Lucia light, you could have it back to back with the PMF
I have many times had a person on the mat with the light with magnets on them.
Wow.
That's very common. That is a high level of combination, but that wasn't for specific psychosurgery. That was aiding people in deep journey, what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Part of what I was doing when I wanted to create that no drug mystical experience at the next level. Okay? So instead of going for ayahuasca journeys in the middle of the jungle nowhere, you could do it, anywhere we wanted to set it up that had that sacred frequency. So having combined therapy in one treatment, great. There are also people out there who have figured out how to put a Lucia light inside a float tank.
Oh, that's incredible.
Okay? But the one negative thing is the float tank rusts everything out.
Yeah.
So you only get about a year's use out of that light before it starts to rust up.
As opposed to 100 odd years.
Right, so 100 odd years. But the fact that they were able to do it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So there are many ways to do the combined therapy. What we're doing is we want start with one therapy, have a very short break, move to the next one. Have a short break, move to the next one. And the reason for doing that is it breaks the body down to have deeper and deeper forms of relaxation, deeper and deeper forms of sleep, to allow each of the individual therapies to compound on the next one. And then at the end, when we come to the light or the mat, you're able to do some of the most deepest internal work you need to do on your own once you've been trained on using how to do it. So what we like to do is feature 2 days for people to go through all 5 forms of the combined therapy. And then the last 2 days, we show them how to do the deep advanced journeying. And that's one of my higher goals, is to bring that on tour in a lot of places. But again, it can be used for the greatest cancer treatments too, okay, or recoveries. It's all about how you come to the system and how these compounded therapies help strip away the fog, the brain stuff, the stresses, until such a time you've reached a state of relaxation that you haven't had since you were a fetus in the womb, as a living human adult.
And in these combined therapies, we can also weave in the light language. I think that comes.
Yes.
That just spontaneously comes, the light language, and the psychic surgery is all part of it. So with us as practitioners, including Dale here, we're all doing that as well, and co-creating with our unseen world and the client's unseen world too. It's all a really beautiful co-creation.
There's so many factors there, so many different directions from which healing is being delivered, that you can't help but be affected by it. Yeah, even some of the hardest nuts will crack eventually, won't they, Andrew?
Oh yeah. Was there another question?
Yeah, there's one at the bottom there as well.
You want to read the Earth Mother one?
No.
Okay. That's interesting. So the effect when they're in nature and by a tree and the leaves.
So the inspiration for the flicker rate came from that exact concept. There is a natural flicker rate in the reality that you're in. And the creators of this from the other unseen realms and the seen realm figured that out, and they were able to duplicate the flicker rate of reality. Through a flicker rate, you can create a mental hologram too. I've had many people go through the visionary process of creating something and walking into it with the light itself. Okay? And this is not placebo. There gets to be a point where it's absolutely real for each person. And then when they're done with the light, it's still there for them. It's a creation in light. It doesn't go away.
Geraldine's talking about.
It's really interesting, that statement with the trees, because when my young grandson couldn't sleep as a baby and I was looking after him, there was a lane I could take it down if it was sunny and it was overhanging with trees. Mm-hmm. And I knew he would sleep by the end of the lane.
Yep.
Because of the flicker rate through the car window. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I did that many times.
Yeah.
That's your grandma's secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the technology of indoor grow lights.
Yes.
In the last 2 decades, indoor horticulture has just evolved, and it's the flicker rate of the lights that decide whether or not it can actually replicate genuine sunlight,
exactly.
not just the spectral range.
Mm-hmm.
So, Geraldine, you live in Ireland, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know anybody doing the nuclear light or the PMF mat, or doing any form of combined therapy like this at all?
I actually don't. I know there was a girl locally set up a little store. She would do the PMEF mat, but she closed that down. I don't know where she is now. So that's the only person that I actually know. I don't know anybody that's using them. No, I think them lights need to come to Ireland.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know anybody that's been using the lights, and I've heard of a couple of things with the mats, and that's not really happening. It might be happening in Dublin, but I'm not down in Dublin. I'm up north, so
I think it'd be fair to say that nobody's doing it.
I actually know where all the Lucia lights in the world are, and there's none in Ireland right now.
No, I didn't think so, because I was like, there's a map, there's a little map that you can click on the website, and they're all in America. It seemed they were all in America. But
so we've
that was
sorry,
only for people outside the EU. If you want to buy a Lucia light and you live in the EU, then you have to contact them via a special email and not through the website, because that caters only for outside the EU. So yeah.
So we've been looking like across the UK, and there isn't anywhere.
I know. That's why I brought it.
That's why you brought it here. But I also have done my own investigation. There is nobody doing this, and for us, this has got to be the way forward to releasing trauma. And releasing trauma is healing.
And everybody's in the background. Well, I want to just try it once. We're not selling single light experiences for a reason. We're doing combined therapy for that exact reason.
Yeah.
So not only will you get to experience the light, you'll get to experience the mat and the cranials therapy. So you understand when these come together, you're not just paying a $12 ticket to go see a movie.
Yeah.
Okay. This is to develop your psychic skills, to heal thyself, to enter the highest state of relaxation.
And also choosing places where there are flotation pods and hyperbaric chambers where we can. And adding other modalities like massage and so
infrared therapy.
Yeah, the infrared sauna.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're looking at expanding this and taking it across the UK. We've said this before. So you guys in the UK who'd like to meet Andrew while he's here and have the four of us come, let us know where you are. We might be able to get somewhere in the Wye Valley. A couple of people have approached me for the Wye Valley on the edge of Wales. So that's a possibility. Oxford's a possibility. I mean, if a few of you get together and you want to do this, we are happy to travel.
Yeah.
Andrew is, and bring this equipment.
And for any of you who are business owners and like for us to come there, if you're interested in investing, get in on the ground floor.
Yeah.
That was a light bulb moment for me, Andrew, when because so many healings, when you go to see people, and this goes for readings, it goes for Reiki, any form of healing, you go for your session, you go home. And yes, it has an effect. But then when you do this combined therapy, the idea of one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, I mean, it's natural evolution of healing, right?
Done that 30 years ago, but unfortunately you had people who don't understand the nature of business, who don't understand the nature of healing. And over the years, if you've been listening to me, I have all these talks about business and all these light workers who can't figure out business. Why? I mean, how many times have we had that on show after show after show?
Yeah.
And then David came on and we put the business webinars together for that. And then people started making a difference and they started realizing how important business is for spirit too.
Yeah.
My business is spirit, but the spirit of business is within me. And the business of spirit is also part of the business. Mm-hmm. So it must be equal. And that's why these combined therapies just made so much more sense from spirit, from the point of business, because it incorporated it all the way through.
And let's not get this twisted. We just don't want to be the only people exclusively doing this. We would like to see these up and down the country,
franchise
all across the
them
world.
All over the country.
We would like to see that.
Yeah,
bringing actual real healing to the world.
We know it works. We know it works.
So if you're interested in investing, you can contact Laura at twofeathers@gmail.com.
Laura2feathers@gmail.com. Yeah.
And I will be here till the 5th of September, and I will be turning around and coming back shortly after that. But we have plenty of spots open if people would like us to come and feature them at their business.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, there's plenty of other modalities as well that Andrew has plenty of experience in. I have some, like fascial unwinding and so on, that the light can be used with, the mat can be used with. It really is a really multifaceted approach to healing, this one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's why I created it. I cannot tell you how many hours I went through all the useless machines that are out there and labeled them useless and figured out the ones that actually work. And that's what this system is about. The ones that actually work. And Geraldine, and earlier in the show, we were talking about those other lights that are out there.
Yeah.
I challenge anyone who has those other lights to show me something that has more than 200 hours of operating time without it being broken,
Ooh.
because it doesn't exist. Okay? My lights have 1,200 hours and 700 hours of operating time and nothing wrong with them.
You.
Okay? So how would you feel if you paid all that money and after 200 hours of operation it stopped working? You cut your throat. You're like, what the fuck? Exactly. Yeah,
No. People.
exactly.
So, Geraldine, you could find us some places if you want to, an island with flotation tanks or hyperbaric and something like that, and we'll come over there too.
I'll have a wee look.
And
But there's
combining it with maybe small tours as well.
sorry.
So we were looking at combining it as well with small tours, weren't we? So we could
Dude,
sort of
if we can make Iceland work,
Iceland
might do
or
Iceland.
Ireland. Yeah, Iceland. Yeah. So that we'd stay mostly in one place with the system set up and then go out maybe for the morning or the day somewhere to the standing stones and then come back and do healing in the evening. I mean, we are open to all sorts of ideas to get this off the ground and combine it with, the working on the land or the visiting the sacred sites or whatever, nature's healing. Hello, Joan.
Yay!
Hi, Joan. Can you hear us?
Can she hear us?
Can't hear you.
You can't hear us.
Can you unmute?
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, how frustrating. You can hear us. No.
She's going to figure it out.
Can you
She's
hear
going to
me?
figure it
Oh yeah.
We can hear you.
I can't
out.
hear you.
Okay. So we can't we can't get a question to her. Is Joel around?
You might need to change your audio settings and see if you go into audio.
What's the background?
Check your volumes up on the phone as well, Joel says.
Okay.
Well, that's the light.
Yeah.
So do you want to share any more stories about what we've been going through recently, Laura?
Oh, wow. So what else have we done? We worked on Dale. That was fun. Resistant Dale. So how was that for you, Dale?
It was really good. It feels like a natural state as I'm under it, and like just something I really enjoy being. I enjoy being there. It feels like I'm in the spirit. Well, I am in the spirit world, and this is a great thing about the Lucia light. If you want the unseen to become seen, you're going to get that experience, because as soon as you go under that light, the unseen world unfolds, and many different realities get presented. You may find yourself in Pleiades, like I've done before. I've been in other universes, other galaxies. The last session I had, I saw a god eye, which was this huge eye, and it was just with me through the entire session, this massive eye staring at me, and it felt like a god eye or something like that. And there was many different ancestors I could see. It took me to the Aurora Borealis, a hub of interconnectivity, and it made me realize about how deep some of these programs can really affect us. There's a side to me which is I've taken on as ancestral karma. I've seen it in my ayahuasca journey, but I saw it again under the light. There's a part of me which holds on to stress, and this is because my parents held on to stress. And stress in society is classed as something you have to deal with and you have to hold and you don't have to let go of. That's like the fake truth of it, what we deal with ancestral debt and so on. So it made me realize how many different versions of myself and programs I need to work on, because I do hold stress. I hold stress in my neck, and it takes me a long time to let go of it. Even though I can go into a really relaxed state, I can go into nothingness, do floats all the time. There is an aspect of me which I really need to work on, and I had that with the ayahuasca. There was a part of me I could really feel which wanted to hold the stress on. I'm like, no, motherfucker, you need to let this go. And so I need to sit this motherfucker down for a meeting. I need to have some serious word and fire his ass. So that's my own inner work to do after unraveling many different things about myself. So it's just the Lucia light will show you what you're afraid to look at, but it will show you in such a unique, loving, beautiful way that you'll feel good. There won't be any trauma like you're screaming or anything like that. It's pure, loving, nice feeling. And even if you go through a trauma release of crying, it's a beautiful cry. When you go through that crying state, it's beautiful, the soul releasing. So if you're unsure about it at all, don't be. There's nothing to be scared about it at all. It's fucking unique and beautiful. And if you want to see the unseen world, do it. It felt to me like, as I did DMT, I smoked DMT in 2012. It was the next thing. It was exactly felt like the same experience. I peeped into the other side. As long as that light was on, I was in the other side. So really cool.
But I've just called Dale resistant now because he was holding stress, wasn't he,
Yes,
in
he
his
was.
shoulders?
I'm letting go of this bitch.
It took quite a while. I think Andrew's going to have to come at you with that hyperbolt massage gun.
Yep. Full power.
Full power this time.
In the shoulders.
Level 5 pain.
Yeah.
So Jones, we've lost Joan again because she couldn't hear us.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, let's call it an end to the show right now. We've talked an awful lot about stuff. And once again, we want to tell people we are back to our normal Tuesdays and Thursdays shows. So tune on in to this coming Tuesday's Talking Stick show.
Not next week.
Oh, no. Sorry, there's no next week. Sorry.
Apart from that.
I am screwed up. We will be off next week with replays because we will be doing the healing tour in York.
Yeah.
And if anybody's interested in concierge service level and wants to have a unique experience tailored for them, contact Laura at twofeathers@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we do concierge, a service for you. Process that. We tailor the experience for your needs.
And we have some powerful psychic surgeons. We haven't really even discussed that part of it. We've just discussed the technology itself. But when you combine us four here with this technology, there's so much we can achieve.
Yeah. And for those who are ready to do some really advanced journeying, it's not about the healing. The whole universe awaits you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
And that's
totally.
that's what Geraldine wants.
Yeah.
She wants her spirit motorcycle. Exactly.
You know, I had a motorbike, but I was taking lessons and I had to sell it because my daughter ran up a $2,500 telephone bill while I was doing night shift. So yeah, I need a new motorcycle.
You need a new motorcycle, exactly.
Geraldine, thank you so much for coming on. It was really good to have you on again.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joan, for trying.
We'll get Joan on next show.
Yeah, we'll get Joan on again. Yeah, thanks so much. And you do some little research in Ireland if you want, and we can try and come over. Yeah.
Just send me a wee message what exactly you're looking for, and I'll have a wee look at it and see what comes up.
No
Fabulous.
problem.
Thank
No
you. Brilliant.
Take care.
Yes.
All right,
Thanks, everybody.
all right, everybody.
You know where
We'll be back in about 2 weeks.
2
We're going
weeks.
to plug our own stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, if you're interested in a session with me, psychic surgery, psychic readings, and so forth, then just contact me on Maty Waller, twofeathersmedicine@gmail.com. You can still go onto our website, twofeathersmedicine.com. There are no products there, but there'll be links to our email addresses if you can't get the email address.
If you'd like me to take you to the ancestral fire in a session and meet your ancestors, then contact me for private sessions. Laura, 2feathers, 2 @gmail.com. Dale?
If you'd like to get your ring activated and join me in a surgery session, head over to daletobin.com and I will sort you out.
Sort you out.
You guys know who I am. You go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. We have another mentorship program beginning the 3rd week in September. All the details are on the website. For those of you who've been waiting to have a mentorship process with me, the original and only Galactic historian, then you will have that available. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Peace out.